Welcome back to my Star Wars Expanded Universe chronological review series. We are making our way through Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith, and we are today on issue number 4 out of 6, so we're almost to the end of the series. It's been an incredible comic book series so far and has been a ton of fun to go through again and review. When we re-enter the story, picking up right where we left off, we are reintroduced once again to the character of Exar Kun, who is on this journey searching for the hidden secrets of the dark side, and he is being led by the Sith Lord Naga Sadow, and he is following Naga Sadow's instructions in where to go, and he makes it to the Moons of Yavin, and it is here at the Moons of Yavin that Exar Kun encounters the Massassi, and this is the moons that he's gone to are the moons that were settled by the Sith that managed to escape, as seen in the prior issues, in my prior reviews of one of the prequel Tales of the Jedi series by Kevin J. Anderson. Now, Exar Kun has to fight against these Massassi, and it makes for an interesting battle. Then we cut away back to the Jedi side of things, where we're with Ud Banar, the Neti Jedi, and he's there with Nomi, Sunrider, and Ulic. And Ud Banar is showing Ulic and Nomi a holocron which shows the effects of the dark side of the Force and what it has on people, and it's quite disturbing. It shows a Padawan who gives in to the dark side and kills his master. And at the end of this, Ud Banar is talking with Ulic, and Ulic is like, well, I'm going to infiltrate the craft. I'm going to go and pretend to join them, pretend to join the dark side, pretend to be interested in the teachings that the Sith have to offer. But Ud Banar is not exactly approving. Nomi's nervous about it. There's a panel that really resonates with me that almost brings tears to my eyes knowing what happens later. Kay just says to Ulic through tears almost, basically, I have a bad feeling about this. You know, the Star Wars line. He said the thing. He says, I have a really bad feeling about this, Ulic, and he's nervous about it, and he gives Kay gives Ulic a hug goodbye and on top of the cliff. And it's just it's a hard panel to see, knowing what will eventually happen to these characters. Kay is right to feel nervous, because pretending to go to the dark side often leads to actually joining the dark side of the Force, as we'll see time and time again in the EU. Darth Caedus, Quinlan Voss, so many characters pretend to join the dark side and then do. Luke Skywalker, there's so many. And Ulic is about to partake in this journey as well. And so Ulic gives Nomi a kiss goodbye, showing how close Ulic and Nomi have gotten. Nomi's holding Vima's hand as she watches Ulic take off in his ship, off to infiltrate the craft, and she hugs Vima as the ship departs, and tears streaming down her face. And this is really quite emotional, and you don't realize the emotional severity until you've completed the Tales of the Jedi series. This isn't just some small thing. This is Ulic's first step into a tragic ending of this tale. Then we cut back to what Exar Kun is doing on Yavin 4. And he ends up finding out about Sith alchemy, basically, from the Massassi that are on the planet. And they have conjured up this giant dark Sith worm being that's shown on the cover. And it's going to fight against Exar Kun here. And it's going to be a very interesting fight to see. But before Exar battles against the worm, we cut back to the craft with the Catos. And the Catos are in the Empress Teta system, and they are, being evil. They've scheduled a public execution because not everyone is following their rule. Not everyone is willingly accepting them as their leaders. There's some minors who would rather try to kill the siblings because they are not a fan of this new dictatorship that they didn't have a say in. And so these public executions are taking place. So as Alima is showing off force lightning and dropping people into acid pits and summoning Sith creatures to kill people, and dodging miners with daggers, that is when Ulick enters the fray, dressed in a green hood, looking all super cool, and he jumps into the fray, and jumps in and saves Alima's life, slicing in half a miner who was trying to kill her. And she is like very surprised by this, and Ulick's like, I did what any Jedi would do. And so Alima leaves with Ulick, instantly kind of awestruck and wooed by him saving her, and she's just like, cousin Setal, continue the executions, and Setal does, supposedly. Meanwhile, Nad is still fighting against this giant winged worm with arms. I don't remember its name off the top of my head. Someone who's a Tales of the Jedi superfan will let me know in the comments. But he destroys the worm, much to the shock and surprise of the Massassi all around. They are stunned, and they like put their hands over their head, cheering for their new leader, because since Exar Kun has destroyed this manifestation, he is now their ruler. And Naga Sadao is like, well done, my boy. Exar's like, I'm not your son. And so there's some conflict between Exar and Naga Sadao. But then the spirit of Frida Nad awakens as well, and Exar obliterates Frida Nad's spirit, because Frida Nad comes in, he's like not approving of Naga Sadao's spirit and Exar Kun, and Exar Kun literally just gone. Frida Nad's spirit, it says like utter annihilation, and his skull is like all twisted, and even his spirit is just destroyed. And it says Exar Kun ponders the mysteries of the dark side of the Force, and we're left with Exar Kun all brooding and contemplative. He is now ascended to being a Dark Lord of the Sith, as he is now in control of the Massassi around him. This is a good issue. Once again, I feel like I've been saying this every issue, just gets the ball rolling, continues the story on towards its conclusion, and it is very interesting, it is very intriguing, the art here is very nice, the dialogue is witty, snappy, all of that. It's well written, it's fascinating, it's a fun story to read, but I don't know, it's not my favorite of the Dark Lords of the Sith issues. I don't know what it is about it, it's not as good as the previous issue for me. But it's an important issue, it's an emotional issue, it's a really good issue. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Solid stuff. But that's all the time I have to talk about Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith, issue number 4 today. Join me next time when I review Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith, number 5. I'll see you guys then.
Honey.